up, family? How you guys doing today? I did here with Milky Tech, and today we'll be going over AMD's press release of the Radeon 6000 series graphic cards. Sorry for the delay. Mother Nature has her ways. We had a power outage for a few days, and that just made life very difficult. But putting that aside, let's get this done. With 6000 series comes RDNA 2, or as they call codename Big Navi, or I'll say Big Daddy. The Big Daddy, Big Navi. Compared to the older architectures, we've seen a 50% increase in performance generation to generation. From GCN to RDNA 1, we've seen a 50% increase in performance, and now from RDNA 1 to RDNA 2, we're seeing another 50% increase in performance, and this is performance per watt. The die size is still 7 nanometers as in the RDNA 1 architecture, but we're seeing over 50% increase in performance, which is phenomenal. We haven't seen something like this in a long time. So how did they do this? Well, they achieved this performance gain by making every compute unit 30% more efficient, and by being more efficient you get more power. Also, they introduced something called Infinity Cache, which they add more cache, about 128 megabytes, which allows for faster and bigger bandwidth. Let's say we're comparing 256-bit bandwidth versus 384-bit versus 256-bit. With this 128 megabytes of cache, we're achieving more than 2 times the bandwidth, which allows for a lot more data to be transferred to and from the graphic card. That's significant amount of performance increase just by having such a big bandwidth. They optimized the 7 nanometer node to have faster frequencies by 30%. So you have 30% faster frequencies. You're having 30% more efficiency to the processing units. You're having over twice the bandwidth. All of this giving you over 50% increase from RDNA 1 to RDNA 2. So let's go over some of the technologies that they added to this release. Finally, AMD releases ray tracing for their graphic cards. I know this is a feature everybody's been looking forward to, especially since NVIDIA released ray tracing with their last RTX series, hence the name RTX, ray tracing. I don't know if that's intentional they did that, but yeah. More features they added DirectX 12 Ultimate. With DirectX 12 Ultimate comes DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, mesh shaders, and sample feedback. Also, they've included Microsoft Direct Storage API for faster load times. So let's talk about AMD Fidelity FX. By adding that, we have increase in contrast adaptive sharpening, denoisers, variable shading, ambient occlusion, screen space reflection, and super resolution. What does that mean for your frames per second? Well, according to AMD, you should be getting over twice the performance over the RX 5700 XT, which is their flagship card. Another thing they added that sounds kind of gimmicky is rage mode. And basically what that does is one button overclocking. It will max out your graphic card so you get the most performance out of it. Another thing that I think is a little bit cheating, but it's pretty cool, is their smart access memory. Basically what that does is it allows the graphic card to pull on system resources, but only if you have a Ryzen-based system. So if you have an Intel system, you really can't utilize this feature. Having that does increase performance, as we will see later on. And with this generation comes further reduction in latency. So basically what latency is the time that it takes for an operation to complete. So basically when you click and a frame is showing on your screen. Now with FreeSync and Radeon Boost, you're getting a 37% reduction in latency. So if you are one of those competitive gamers, professional gamers, you're doing this for a living, that kind of reduction is the difference between you getting killed or you're killing somebody else in a game. So with that out of the way, let's go over the graphic cards that they're releasing. So first up is their RX 6800. So here are the specs. We have 60 compute units. Our game clock is at 1815 megahertz. Our boost clock is at 2105 megahertz. We have 128 megabytes Infinity Cache, 16 gigs of DDR6 memory, and the board total power is 250 watts. Now, with all that said, what does that mean when it comes to performance? Well, so at 4K resolution, it goes toe-to-toe with a 2080 Ti, which is supposed to go toe-to-toe with the RTX 3070. Considering the price point of the RTX 2080 Ti, which is at $1,200, versus this guy, which is around $580 at the time of recording this video, yeah, the price performance is insane. You're getting the better performance for much less price. Going down to 1440p, we're getting the same type of thing where the RX 6800 just blows the 2080 Ti out of the water. And now the middle brother, the 6800 XT. With the 6800 XT comes 72 compute units, a clock of 2015 MHz, a boost clock of 2250 MHz, 128 megabytes infinity cache, 16 gigs of DDR6 memory, and a board power of 300 watts. So what does that mean for our performance? Well, at 1440p, compared to the 3080, which is a 320 watt board, you are getting virtually identical performance, where the 6800 XT is slightly faster in some games, the trade blows, or the 3080 is slightly faster, and we see more of the same at 4K. They're just trading blows right and left. So let's put this all together for the 6800 XT. With the smart access memory turned on and rage mode, we see that the 6800 XT blows the 3080 out of the water. We're seeing performance gains anywhere from 2% to 13% increase in performance. And that's free performance just for having an AMD CPU and a one-click overclock. Considering that the 3080 is around $700 at the time of recording the video, and this card is at $650, you're saving a little money and you're getting better performance, and that's what we want. And now for the big boy, the RX 6900 XT. So let's look at the specs of this guy. So with this guy, we have 80 compute units. We have a game clock at 2015 MHz. We have a boost clock of 2250 MHz, 128 megabytes of infinity cache, 16 gigs of DDR6 RAM, and only at 300 watts. That's crazy, because the 3090 is a power-hungry guy. 350 watts. That's a lot of power. So what does that mean for performance? Well, at 4K, we see that the RX 6900 XT, again, trade blows across all benchmarks. Considering that the RTX 3090 is $1,500 and this card is a little under $1,000, there really isn't a point getting, based on their information, the 3090. Just wasting $500 for maybe that much performance gain. Remember how we said that RDNA 2 was 55% faster than RDNA 1? Well, the RX 6900 XT is 65% faster. Wow. In their own generation, they have a card that is faster than the whole generation. That is insane. So a little recap on the pricing and the dates that they're going to be released. The 6800 series will be released on November 18th, which is coming up soon, at prices of $579 and $649 respectively. So what do I think about this release? Well, I think this is a great generational improvement. Now, will it be better than NVIDIA? I don't know. Until I actually get a card and test it, and we have benchmarks out there. I think it's a fast card. I think the performance per dollar is there. But will it blow NVIDIA out of the water? Probably not. As for the majority of the benchmarks, they are leveraging their smart system access, and they're leveraging their rage mode. So what's actually going to happen is AMD is going to be slightly slower, and NVIDIA is going to be slightly faster. Now, there are some leaked benchmarks out there showing that the 6800s are a lot faster, but with NVIDIA's DLSS technology, NVIDIA just blows AMD out of the water. Now, AMD is working on their own solution for DLSS equivalent, DirectML, and that's supposed to be open source and available across all platforms. Does Team Green have something to be worried about? I think so. I see this progression the same way as Ryzen to Intel. Right now they're trading blows, and I think the next generation AMD is going to blow NVIDIA out of the water, and that's something to look forward to. And what does that mean for us, really, as consumers? It's a great time. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot of choices, which means hopefully this insane prices on graphic cards will come down. And really, I can't say anything until I get these cards in my hand and I actually test them, so you guys will have an unbiased representation of what these cards can actually do. If you guys enjoy these videos or this kind of content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I release my next video. If you guys have a comment, suggestion, or want to say hello, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.